Howdy gangsters, welcome back to Gattsy on Goosebumps, the only show in which I read and review every single Goosebumps book from R.L. Stine's original series. Today we are looking at Goosebumps number 58, Deep Trouble 2. It's it's a sequel to, I think, Goosebumps number 19, Deep Trouble, and it's sort of an odd choice for a sequel. You know, with the other sequels in the original series, you've got like Night of the Living Dummy, which follows the exploits of the central antagonist, Slappy, who's joining me today. And then on Monster Blood, you know, you've got the same sort of protagonists as well as their dealings with like the recurring monster in the form of Monster Blood. This one isn't like that. The sort of only linking thing is the characters and them sort of engaging with, I guess, underwater adventures or aquatic adventures. It's just sort of an odd choice for a sequel, but you know, I'll get to its merits and shortcomings in just a moment. Yeah, I don't love this cover. I think it's sort of a lot of unused space here. I like that Tim Jacobus included like a shipwreck here. You know, it's not featured in the story. It's a nice little detail that he adds. Tagline is "Something's fishy again." I don't know if that's reference to like if the first one is like something's fishy, in which case lazy. But the blurb reads as follows: the fish are biting everyone. Billy Deep, great name, Billy Deep, I love that. Porn star name. And his sister Sheena are spending another summer in the Caribbean on their island's totally cool floating lab. The weather is beautiful, and there are lots of neat places to go swimming and snorkeling. Billy and Sheena are great swimmers, but even great swimmers get into trouble, especially this year. This year there's something really scary going on under the sea. The fish all seem to be growing, bigger and bigger, into monster-sized sea creatures with monster-sized appetites. So yeah, the setup is quite similar to the original Deep Trouble. The story of which involved Billy and Sheena with their uncle Dr. Deep, who's a marine biologist in the Caribbean, and they find a mermaid, and like some bad guys try and kidnap the mermaid and kidnap them. There's no mermaids in this one, but it sort of follows the central idea of they're exploring things in the ocean again. So they're, you know, having fun, trying to prank each other as little sisters and brothers do. Essentially, they start to notice really big sea creatures. Like, there's a really big shark that chases them. The goldfish in like the tank grow really big, and at one stage, Dr. Deep's like attacked by a giant like sea snail inside his own ship. Out of nowhere, these three guys, led by a scientist called Dr. Ritter, come aboard. Like, oh, we saw your boat thrashing around because of these huge goldfish. Like, everything all right? And Dr. D's like, yep, all good, don't worry, we just had hit some turbulence. And Billy, because he's a bloody idiot for some reason, he's like, oh yeah, we had these gigantic fish here. He's like, I couldn't keep it to myself any longer. Why? Why are you telling them this? And he's like, Uncle's like trying to like, Billy, shut the fuck up. But he like tells him everything. Dr. Ritter's like, that's a shame. Shame you know too much now. I guess I'll have to take care of you. Anyway, it turns out Dr. Ritter was feeding experimental growth hormones to like the plankton in the sea, which was causing them to grow really big. Which makes sense, but like, I would dig that if it made them grow like over time, but like Billy's goldfish grow like instantly after like growing plankton. So it turns out this book written for 12-year-olds isn't that realistic. So they get taken to Dr. Ritter's ship. They're about to get thrown overboard because they've seen too much about his crazy, you know, experiments that could solve world hunger. And some seagulls attack the bad scientists just in time. They escape into a lifeboat and go out to sea. Starts raining, like they're stranded in the middle of the ocean, boats filling up with water. It's pretty like desperate situation. They rock up on like this tiny desert island, eat some coconuts, get attacked by a giant crab. Their lifeboat floats out to sea, but then a dolphin brings it back and they get in, and like the dolphin pulls them back. Because dolphins do that, I guess. They tow your boat with like rope in its mouth and pull it along. I don't know. They're giant dolphins as well. And they get pulled back to their ship, the Cassandra. Like, oh, they're so happy, everything's back to normal. But no, Dr. Ritter's on the ship. His thugs aren't with him anymore, and it's not mentioned that he has a gun. He had a spear gun earlier, he doesn't have it in this scene, but they're all like, still like listening to him and like doing what he says. And he's like, yep, I'm gonna make you eat the same plankton the fish are doing. Which, by the way, turns humans into fish. So not only does it make them grow instantaneously, if a human drinks it or eats it, they instantly turn into a fish. Yeah, sounds legit. He's like, go on, Billy. Choose which vial of plankton to drink. Because, I'll just, choose one for you and make you drink it down. So he's like, oh, okay. Drinks down this plankton. Nothing happens. He's like, what's going on? This is my magic plankton. Anyway, there's a tussle. He tries to escape, or they try to like tie him up. But he gets through, and he's like, no, my plankton works. I'll show you. And he drinks another vial of plankton. Sure enough, he turns into a fish and flops over the side. That's what happened to his other two guards as well. He made them drink it, I guess. Why would he do that? If you're going to experiment, why would you do it on like the two people like that you need to strong hand other ships in the Caribbean? Weird guy, obviously. He's a crazy scientist. So they're safe now. And then they're like, Billy, how come when you drank it, it didn't turn you into a fish? He's like, I was going to gross you out before, Sheena, when we were pranking each other. So I filled one of the plankton things with iced tea, and I was going to drink it for you, and, you'd be so grossed out, you'd puke everywhere. Ha ha ha. So that's what I chose, and that's what I drank. Yep. And Sheena's like, ha ha ha, I was going to do the same thing. Look, watch this. She does the same thing. She's like, oh, did I drink the right one? That's the cliffhanger. She might have drunken the fish potion. I don't know. Yeah, so again, it's sort of odd choice to have this as a sequel. It's, making the families the recurring element rather than like the supernatural thing. It works fine, it's good. It works fine. It's interesting take, we've got these characters that can provide an avenue for these aquatic science fiction adventures, if you like. Yeah, it is a lot more, I guess, science fiction than it is fantasy or supernatural, because there's like a scientific answer. But that's sort of undermined by the fact that as soon as fish eat plankton, they grow large, like instantly, and as soon as a human drinks the same thing, they become a fish. Sounds like magic to me. Regardless, it's a really fast-paced book. I'm surprised how quickly I finished it. It's amazing that, these books are essentially the same length every time, but some just like seem to drag on so much. This was like full action, and you get this really quite big adventure going from ship to boat to deserted island to ship again. Really that quite fast-paced action. It doesn't really let up, and it starts really quickly. They see these giant fish pretty much straight away. Not very spooky, but a big adventure, and highly recommended. Not highly recommended, it's recommended. You do something better with your time, obviously, like contribute to a charity or volunteer somewhere. But if you're not going to do that, you might as well read Goosebumps number 58. Deep Trouble Do. That's all for this week. Please join me next time, in which I discuss Goosebumps number 59, The Haunted School. Brings back memories. Haunted by the rejection of girls that were more popular than me. In the meantime, though, thank you for watching, and please stay spooky.